with your double speak is wearing down on me. Caught between reality and what you say you see.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Getting Close Up, the show focused on independent artists and creatives. I'm your host, Danielle Cox, and you want to be my new friend? If so, which I know you do, don't front. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and ding the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. I have he's an uber super duper talented person that I'm going to introduce you today. He is a singer, songwriter, and a sound engineer. Let's go ahead and get into it because today we are getting close up with Cam Burns. Hey there, all the way from St. Louis.
Yes, how's it going? Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. You have a very interesting story and a really good interesting perspective on songwriting as well as sound engineering. So I'm looking forward to talking to you about it.
Yes, I'm excited to dig in.
Now, when I first saw you, you were performing with a friend of the show, Antonio J., who's a close personal friend of yours as well.
Yes, yeah, we met all the way back in the 4th grade.
Aww.
We were super close. He's a military kid, so he's always traveling around. He left that year, but he came back my high school year, and I think that was my senior year. We were both seniors, and we were doing a production of Godspell for high school, and I was Jesus and he was Judas. Although we don't have that relationship in real life, we're really close friends. But yeah, he invited me down to KC. Yeah.
That close personal friends part. And it stayed that way. So.
Exactly. Yes.
That is such a cute story. And thinking about you guys as 4th graders is such a cute little thought. But I got a chance to see at that time because I had never met you, just how talented you really are. And you're pretty unassuming just looking at you. But when you start performing, you're actually pretty dynamic. You've been performing those since you were about 12 years old.
Yeah. I have a background in theater. I did a lot of theater work as a kid. And that's how I kind of got my roots in I realized I had the passion for performing live and getting up in front of audiences. It feels like it's always like one step ahead of me. And it's always a challenge that I'm trying to chase is getting the right performance and trying to capture the thing that I'm trying to capture. So I like the challenge of it a lot. So it kind of transitioned into the songwriting thing as I went on.
Yeah. And it's really interesting to be that young in the theater scene. Just in case there's anybody out there that is maybe looking to have their kid get into it, or it's an experience that they've had themselves. Talk to me a little bit about what that was like for you being so young. That's a lot of auditions and potentially a lot of rejection to have to deal with so young.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of rejection, and that's the most intimidating part of it is having to go out and audition for the places, because depending on the theater you're auditioning for in the production, some of the auditions are like set up to intimidate you because you're going to be looking out into an audience and you're going to be seeing all the people. But I find it's way more stressful when you have a small group of people and they are kind of judging you of whether you're right for the role or not. So there were a lot of challenges that I faced with that. But I think the biggest thing that made it easy for me is realizing that if I didn't get the part, it's not the end of the world. And I could go in there and bomb, and then I didn't have to do all the work and rehearsal and stuff. So it freed up some time. But I definitely, that was what kind of got me excited about it is the challenge. I'm always looking for challenges, even if they're really intimidating, like those were.
Yeah, yeah, it's really interesting because some kids, I mean, and everybody's different, obviously. That's what sets some people apart. But like most kids, I know my son, when I got him a skateboard, he was so into it. He was like, "Oh, I want a skateboard. I want a skateboard." And like his first 10 minutes outside with it, he came back and I was like, "What's wrong?" And he's like, I don't think I really want to do skateboarding. It turns out like he had fell and then like rode down the hill. So that was but I mean that's just how, people are. It's how kids are. So I just thought it was
Yeah.
really interesting that you wanted the challenge and then really pushed yourself through it. Your parents had to be pretty supportive through all of that, right?
Yeah, my parents have been and continue to be super supportive of my pursuit in the arts. They were the ones who, when I was young and I couldn't drive, they were driving me rehearsal late at night, especially those tech weeks when they're 12-hour long rehearsals, and
Wow.
they're there early and they're there late. So huge shout out to them, and thank you to them, because I wouldn't have been able to be here where I am without their support.
No, absolutely not. What's one of your favorite memories from that time?
Oh man. Uh, Probably so. Starlight Theater. I was in a production of Sound of Music,
Oh,
and I was one
cool.
of the Von Trapp kids, and I like had this big high note in the "So Long Farewell" song, and
Mm.
I heard somebody out in the audience when I hit it. They said, "I don't know if you can curse on here, but they were like, God bleep." I heard him from like the stage, and then I walked off, and I was like, I think I hit it well that time. That one stuck with me. I was like, I did it right.
Oh man, that is so cool. Like that's the thing about an audience though. That's the reward, for all the
Hmm.
the long hours of rehearsing and trying to remember your parts and having to do the vocal stuff to get a reaction like that. That's pretty cool. That's a
Yeah,
fun
that
memory.
one stuck with me, and like you're saying, like with feeding off of the audience, that's something that's persisted, and that's what makes it feel so alive when like I'm performing on stage. Is I feel very connected. There's something happening there. So that's what I keep coming back to. And also like just the community aspect of theater and
Yeah.
how tight knit the casts are. Because you spend a lot of time together. I remember that being something that really stuck with me with each production. It felt like I was stepping into a new family.
Yeah, that's really cool. Think about, and again, the conversation is always had about the difficult parts and what's so tough about it. But then there's those really beautiful things too that really keep you coming back. And then
Hmm.
you ended up going to college and had to go through more audition processes because you wanted to continue that. So talk to me a little bit about that experience. How was that different?
Um, Depending on the college, I found that some of them really got to know you, and then some of them you felt like it was more of like the cattle call type auditions where you
Mm,
kind of feel like more of a number. And
yeah.
that's why I graduated toward Webster. Is that was the most intensive like interview and audition process that I had to go through. But by the end of it, I felt like they knew who I was and what I was about, and I knew who they were and what they were about. So that's partly why I felt so comfortable choosing my college career at Webster, and I'm very glad I did, because it's been everything I could have hoped for and more.
That's awesome. Now you started that track, but then you switched over to songwriting. Talk to me about what helped you make that change and change your mind on the direction that you wanted to go.
I felt like the songwriting thing was a chance to do something different, because I'd been doing the theater thing for quite some time and I needed some sort of change. And I wasn't fully committed to going to college for theater. Uh, so I knew I liked the live performance aspect of it and the expression of it and
Right.
being on stage. So I wanted to see if there was a place that could cater to that. And I found songwriting. And I was like, is this really an option here? And so I did some research, and I found at the time there were like 6 schools who offered a songwriting degree. And I was like, I'm going to audition for these places. And if I don't get accepted, I'll reevaluate. And I was lucky enough to get accepted. So that kind of solidified my path down this road.
Yeah, that's interesting. There's not very many schools that offer that. What type of curriculum? I mean, just give me an idea of what it is that you would be learning that would help you in songwriting.
Yeah. So we do like private lessons. So I'm a voice primary and a piano secondary. So I get one-on-one lessons with those. I have a songwriting teacher that I get one-on-one lessons with as if it was an instrument almost. We take courses in composition. A couple semesters ago, I took a really cool class called History of Popular Styles. And we went through each decade and over the past like century, we took apart, like we went through like the 80s power ballads, we went through 2000s pop. It was really cool. So we got to study all those different genres. And then each semester I'm pursuing my songwriting degree, I have to enroll in what we call songwriting masterclass, where all the other songwriting majors get together once a week and we share songs that we've been writing. It's pretty open-ended, but we give critiques and advice, and we collaborate and share ideas and do a lot of co-writes and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm getting a really well-rounded education here.
That's exactly what it sounds like. That's fascinating. I mean, I think I would like to even just like that one class you were telling me about where they go through the decades. I'd be interested in that, and I don't write songs at all. And you also found some other things that appealed to you while heading down this path in songwriting, because now you're also in sound engineering.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about what appealed to you there.
Yeah, so one of the things I forgot to mention that comes along with the songwriting degree is it comes with an audio minor. So they have you in like the DAW classes where you're learning how to use Pro Tools. They get you in our Webster studios with a lot of the audio engineers. So you're able to make those connections. And as I was taking them, I realized that there was this whole other half of a song that had to do with packaging it and getting it out to an audience as an audio file. And that process was a lot harder than I thought it would be. And I was really passionate about chasing that down because I want to be self-sufficient and I want to be able to produce my own stuff. So at the end of my sophomore year, I switched that audio minor to another major. So I'm double majoring in songwriting and audio right now.
Wow. What is it about learning that side of things that has made you a better songwriter?
I think it all comes down to just enhancing the emotion of the song and focusing on the message of it. And everything should be used to convey a feeling of some sort. And there's also the technical side that I find really fascinating with signal flow and stuff. And there's something just cool about being in a studio. I like the scene. I like the engineers I get to work with. I'm surrounded by music. And it feels like it's like that last step before it really broadens out to an audience on all the streaming services and stuff.
Yeah, and of those steps, like recording and mixing and mastering, would you say that one of them is your favorite or one that you don't like doing so much? Like how do you feel about those?
Mastering is always going to elude me. It's really difficult. The mastering engineers are really good at their jobs. I respect what they do. I love mixing. I would say that's my strong suit right now, but I'm hoping to strengthen my skills in recording. This semester, we start tomorrow. I'm taking a class called Studio Engineering, where we just work as an audio engineer in the studio. So we help people troubleshoot stuff if they run into problems and stuff. So I have a feeling that that's going to make my recording skills a lot better.
Absolutely, because, well, then too, learning how to put out fires, because
Mhm.
just from the little bit that I've seen, just being exposed the way I have in this, there's usually something that goes wrong, and you have to try to figure it out. Have you had any experiences with that, helping anybody work on songs at all with just what you've learned so far?
Yes, last semester I did like a live session in the studio
Mm.
with an incredible artist from the St. Louis scene that I met through the songwriting program. Her name's Aubrey Bug, and
Mm.
she reached out to me and she was like, "Hey, I want to do a live session where we bring some like a film student in to record some of these songs that I have." So she brought her band in, and I recorded everything, and then my roommate, who's a film major, I reached out to him. I was like, "Hey, you should see if there's an opening for this position." So I helped her produce some of the stuff in the studio that way, and that was definitely daunting because we had a lot of mics up. It was like my first real session.
Oh
I
wow.
remember there was like the 3 nights leading up to it, I was having nightmares that like the mics were blowing up and everything, and I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But it all went well. It all went really well.
That's good. But yeah, but no, yeah, it's just one of those things, it's technology is always going to try to find a way to make itself feel like it's smarter than you.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing from you in the future to see how all of that went and what you've learned from that, because that's a really cool experience. But with all of that, it sounds like songwriting really is your first love, creatively speaking. You did talk to me about one of the first songs, or maybe the first song that you ever wrote,
Mhm.
right? About
Yes.
your brother. Let's talk about that, because I really love that.
Yeah, yeah. So usually the songs, I start with them coming from a place of emotion.
Yeah.
And at this particular time, uh, my brother Brian had just been poking the bear with me. He was aggravating me. We all know how siblings get.
Yes.
And one time he went too far. And so I was like, that's it. I'm going to write a song about you, man. And the song was called Constant Enemies. I still remember how it goes and everything, but fast forward to, I don't know how many years it's been, probably around like 10. But we're now writing and producing some songs together. So
Oh, that's
our
sweet.
relationship has come a long way since then.
And then it started with the song. Like, it's so funny that your first inclination was, I'm so mad, I'm gonna write a song about it. And like when I got mad at my sisters, like, I'm so mad, I'm gonna take all the heads off her Barbies. So just different, different outlets, different ways. Have you ever gotten stuck when you're writing a song?
Oh yeah, I get stuck all the time. I tend to get stuck in the lyric a
Mm,
lot. That's I find I'm putting too many constrictions on myself
mm,
because we learn about all these rules that your lyrics need to hit. They need to check all these boxes.
mm,
And so I find what I'm trying to break out of now is all of these rules that I've been taught that I need to follow and which ones I can break and how to break them. So that's kind of a struggle I'm dealing with right now is figuring out how to get unstuck lyrically.
mm.
Um, but I think it's going to get better as I just force myself to complete stuff and put deadlines on things. So that's been something I've been trying to get a little bit better at. But roadblocks are definitely I hit a couple with every song.
I find it so fascinating, the more creatives that I speak to, and especially songwriters, anybody that writes their own lyrics, um, their different process creatively on times when they get stuck, or when an inspiration hits them and it either makes things flow really easy and they write 3 or 4 songs, or they still have to have a prompt or something to help them along. I find it so fascinating because it tells me a lot about that person's thought process, the way they approach life. And it seems like you kind of like the patterns and you kind of like to have the control, but then also it's interesting to hear you say, break the rules that I learned. So how,
Yes.
the things that you've learned, like how have they assisted creatively?
For me, it's like so many of the songs I feel like I'm stumbling around in the dark
Mm,
and just feeling my way around. Having the rules there gives me something to at least push off of. I can choose to use it or not use it. In either way, something is going to be generated from making a decision there. So that's how I primarily use them.
mm.
Um, I try to apply as many rules as I can because they are there for a reason, and usually they'll lead you in a good direction.
Yeah. And with everything that you've learned, because you've got some music out there and there's things that I know you've worked on that you still probably go back to every once in a while. Is there anything from earlier efforts, earlier songwriting, where you look at it now and you cringe?
Oh, yes, so many songs. I've even gone back, remixed songs, re-released them, kept both versions up, and now I'm looking back at the remixed version that I thought was way better. And I'm like, I need to remix it again. So that's always happening with me. But I'm trying to leave all that stuff up so I can look back and see the growth that I've had. And
Yeah.
I know with a lot of the artists that have stuck with me, having a big volume of songs that you can go through
Yeah.
kind of tells its own story. So I'm trying to keep that up, even the ones that aren't very loud and are mixed poorly. So hopefully it can be an inspiration to someone that it's like, okay, he actually started from square one and you can see the progress. So I'm hoping to be an inspiration to someone by leaving the bad stuff out there and not tuck it away just because I'm not super happy with it. But
Yeah. That's a very good point. That you and very vulnerable and transparent too, because as artists you would think, that that's the goal. Oh, the goal is, all this transparency, but a lot of the times artists are really confined by not wanting to show too much of themselves and definitely not showing themselves when they're not at their best.
mhm.
And they can get confined by that. So I think it's really special that you're like, well, me leaving that out there helps someone else. It can help someone else to let them know this is where someone I started here too, and eventually I got here. That's pretty awesome. Is there a song that you consider to be very personal to you?
uh, from my own catalog or from
Yeah, from your own catalog, something that you've written.
yeah, yeah. Uh, there was one tune that came to me a really long time ago. I'd say it's been like 7 years ago now, and then I kept rewriting versions of it,
Hmm.
and I really liked the melody, but the lyrics weren't sticking. I would bring it into lessons, and my songwriting teacher and I just like weren't feeling it, and I kept rewriting it, and I don't know how many times I rewrote it, at least 7 or 8.
Wow.
And it finally got to a place where I was happy with it. And it's probably my favorite lyric that I've written so far. It's the song of, the title is called Lark. And
Hmm.
it's on my album Empty Rooms. I put a lot of work into that one.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's when you have a song like that and it's like your baby, and it's usually I hear some people sometimes don't want to take it to other people for help, but it's really awesome you
Mhm.
had that resource to kind of help work through it.
Yeah, yeah. And I just felt like I didn't have the experience to attach it to the melody yet. Like it was like I need to see something before I can even write the lyric because I wasn't as pointed. And having people to bounce your ideas off of has been a huge benefit to me because it's so easy to get stuck in with the
Yeah.
horse blinders.
No, I get it. 100% get it. Pivoting a little bit, when we were researching you and looking at everything that you sent us, one thing that we were very impressed with is your branding. The
Thank
way
you.
that you have everything out there and how organized it is and how cohesive it is. Talk to me a little bit about your intentionality behind that. It's very professional.
A big influence for that stuff has been a class, entrepreneurship class I took, and
Nice.
another class would be songwriting master class, and seeing how other artists are branding themselves, and creating a vibrant color scheme.
Yeah.
I try to wear a lot of similar clothes. The black and white stripes are something that I'm trying to incorporate in my brand. I got my shirt on today.
Yeah,
So
see.
I'm trying to stay consistent with clothing and stuff for all my performances. So when I upload videos, it
Hmm.
matches. And then I did for my the release of the Love and Ghost music video.
Yeah.
I took a 2 month block and I was like, I'm gonna plan out a post every day, and I really saw growth just having consistent content out, and that forced me to figure out the brand stuff and like what does it look like, and I feel like I've kind of carved something out, another big part of that has been figuring out myself on stage as well,
Yeah.
and what boxes I am trying to bring from that onto the social media. But it's difficult, and I feel like I'm headed in the right direction, but I'm not fully where I want to be with that yet.
Do you feel like you and your brand are one and the same?
Uh, there are definitely some differences. I find like I have a personal Instagram and Facebook, and then I have a music. I have like Cam Burns and then Cam
Mhm.
Burns music, and I find that the more I use it, the more I'm going to my music accounts, and I look around and I'm like, I'm doing music all day. I'm doing music classes all day. So right now it's really tied up with one another. It's hard to distinguish it as of now, because I'm also trying to incorporate all the things that I really feel like are a part of who I am. I'm trying to incorporate like the horror vibes and stuff into
Yeah.
things, and that's been a huge influence on me. So there are definitely hints of me in there.
And going back to the horror link, you you told me a really just a really cute story about how you and horror have like you go way back.
Yes, yeah. My parents have been big horror fans, and I remember when I was a little kid, we were the family who did like the haunted garages in the neighborhood that the kids would walk through, and we'd have like tarps set up so it looked like different rooms, and so that gave me the opportunity each year for my mom to be like, "All right, how are we setting up the Halloween rooms this year? Where are we putting the Freddy Krueger thing? Are we putting the severed head in the fridge this year?" So all that kind of stuff. So I that was one of my earliest memories of feeling like I was like just really creatively inspired.
Mm.
And I've tried to replicate that and chase that feeling as I've gotten older, because I feel like I don't lose as much energy doing that stuff. And I want to make sure what I'm doing is sustainable.
So go ahead and let everybody know where they can keep up with you, where they can find your music. It's all well branded and looks great. So when you find them, you'll know. But I'm gonna let them tell you.
Thank you. I'm on YouTube. I'm on TikTok, Instagram. I got a Facebook page. I'm on all the streaming platforms. I think I've covered all my bases, but please reach out to me through any of those avenues if you're like, I wish you were on here or here or here. I'm always open to expanding my reach.
And that's listed as Cam Burns Music.
Yes, Cam Burns music on all of it. Just on Spotify and Apple Music, it's just Cam Burns.
Got it. Go, you guys go ahead and check him out. Check out his music.
Mhm.
Check out his music video because it's gonna it was really cool. I'll just put it there. I don't we gave enough information about it. I don't want to spoil it more than that. Many thanks again to Cam Burns for joining me today. He's awesome. All the links that he gave will be down in the description box below, so don't miss out on that. If you had as much fun as we had, make sure that you like, you comment, and you subscribe so that we can keep bringing it to you. New episodes of Getting Close Up air bi-weekly on Fridays, but also make sure to check out me and Dee as we give you the tea on what's hot and what's not with GCU Review. We're a good time. You already know what it is. thank you guys so much for watching, and I appreciate you. I thank you for being the best part of all of this, and I'll see you again soon for another close up. I'll be checking for you. Bye.